The Book of Enoch is the most controversial Bible nowadays, or since in the past. This is because this is not part of the canon Bible or the most Bible we see today. The Book of Enoch was and is the most controversial book in the Bible because it cannot be found in most Bibles today. Also, I'm really curious. It's been on the TikTok comment section in my TikTok FYP, and I was curious. So diving deeper to it, and it shocked me. So for context, the Book of Enoch wasn't written at one single moment. It's a collection of texts composed of several centuries. So take note that the Book of Enoch is attributed to Enoch, which is the great grandfather of Adam. Adam. Yep, the one who is caught up in heaven by God. But what shocked me is that the Book of Enoch is, when you read it, it really looks most of the Bible, what you could see in the Catholic Bible and the Protestant Bible. The lining, the paragraph, how it is written. And it really looks like a canon Bible. And I was amazed. So when was this written? So earliest portion around 300 to 250 BCE. The latest sections around 100 to 100 BCE to 100 CE. So there are not just three books of Enoch, but every book has different themes. And for this video, we will discuss the summary of the first Enoch. So, some facts or overview of this Book of Enoch. So, there are many kinds of chapters or many numbers of chapters here. So, Book of the Watchers from chapter 1 to 35, and then Book of Parables from chapters 37 to 71, which is written around 100 BCE to 100 CE. The astronomical book around 250 to 200 BCE, then dream visions around 200 BCE, and the epistle of Enoch around 200 to 100 BCE. So it was highly influential in the early Judaism and Christianity. Even Paul and Jude quoted this one. So in Jude chapter 1 verses 14 to 15, it is quoted directly in New Testament. Yes, that's right. But it doesn't mean that it should be a canon or part of the canon Bible. They just quoted it. And even Paul quoted in the verses, just like in Ephesians 6 about that we are not fighting against flesh and blood, but against rulers, principalities, the prince of this world. And we will talk about that later. And so let's go with the summary, which is the amazing part. So Enoch, or the first book of Enoch, explains why the world became corrupt, how evil spirits entered humanity, and how God plans to judge both angels and humans and restore justice. In the Protestant Bible, we could only see 66 books, while in the Catholic Church or the Catholic Bible, we could see 73 books. And in the Ethiopian Bible, which of course under Ethiopian Church, they have 81 books as their canon Bible, which includes the Book of Enoch, Book of Jubilees, Book of Maccabeans, and other expanded Old Testament texts, which was written in Hebrew, Aramaic. So originally, the Book of Enoch is written in Aramaic. So it's basically Genesis plus angels plus cosmic justice plus end times vision. Our story, some angels called watchers were sent to observe humanity. Instead, what did these watchers do? Based on Genesis 6, right? Which is their fruit or offspring is called or was called Nephilim, the giants. So they lusted after human women, took them as wives, taught humans forbidden knowledge, weapons, magic, astrology, cosmetics, warfare, sorcery. Their children became giants, Nephilim, who devoured resources, became violent, destroyed the earth. When the giants died, their spirits became demons, roaming the earth and afflicting humans. So to be clear, when these watchers died, when the giants died, they became demons. So when were still alive, they were called Nephilim. But when these offsprings died, they are called demons. So why God gets angry? Humanity is corrupted not just by sin but by angelic rebellion. The Watchers. Cosmic law breaking. Knowledge humans weren't meant to have. So God imprisons the Watchers, destroys the giants, declares a coming final judgment. And Enoch, he becomes a heavenly messenger, takes on visions through heaven. So read this. From chapter 1 to chapter 36, the Book of the Watchers. This is the most famous part. Main points. Angels rebel, Nephilims are born, earth is corrupted, God sentences the Watchers. Enoch intercedes but is denied forgiveness for them. The tone of this when you read is very dark, cosmic, judgment heavy. I read this soft copy of the Book of Enoch by Charles Worth, which is the most neutral recommended in the internet, because some Book of Enoch are heavily influenced by today's terms, which I will not mention in this video. You know it, the conspiracy theorists or conspiracy terms. They are heavily quoting this Book of Enoch. So the second book or the second theme is the Book of Parables or Similitudes, chapters 37 to 71. This is where it gets very messianic. Introduce the Son of Man, a divine judge, pre-existent heavenly figure. This heavily influenced how early Christians understood Jesus. Themes: final judgment, vindication of the righteous, destruction of corrupt rulers. The third theme, the astronomical book, chapter 72 to 82. Sounds boring, but it mattered a lot back then. It explains movements of the sun, moon, stars, calendar laws, cosmic order. Why it matters? Disorder on earth equals disorder in heaven. Sin is seen as cosmic alignment or cosmic misalignment, not just moral failure. The Book of Dream Visions, which is the fourth theme of this book, which can be found around chapters 83 to 90. Symbolic visions of history includes flood, Israel's story, oppressive rulers, end-time judgment, very similar in style to Daniel and Revelation. Fifth theme is the Epistle of Enoch, chapters 91 to 108. Final warnings and blessings, themes. Justice will come, the righteous will shine, the wicked will fade. God remembers suffering, very comforting for oppressed people. So when you really read the first book of Enoch, you would really think this should be included in the canon Bible, whether it's Catholic or Protestant Bible. Why it was excluded from the Bible? Not because it was fake. The main reasons are authorship issues written later, not literally by Enoch. That's true. The book of Enoch is not really written by Enoch, who have taken by God, who had not experienced death. So, the book of Enoch is written by various writers. They just attributed it to the name of Enoch. This is because also the number 2 reason why it was not included in the canon Bible nowadays is because it has heavy angel mythology. We could learn in the next books that there are it discusses the hierarchy of angels, different kinds of heaven, 7 to 10 heavens, just like in other belief system. Third, different Jewish groups rejected different texts because it has inconsistencies. It doesn't talk about what is the common theme of the canon Bible. Number 4, Christianity later standardized a smaller canon. But again, early Jews read it, early Christians quoted it, Paul and Jude. Jesus' language mirrors it often. So when you read really the book of Enoch, you would really think that this should be included. Why the book of Enoch or the first book of Enoch still matters today? It helps explain the Nephilim, the Genesis chapter 6, which is only just one verse right there, or few verses. Origin of demons, spiritual warfare or worldview, why evil feels systematic, not just personal, why judgment is portrayed as cosmic justice. It reframes evil as a broken universe, not just broken people. Okay, so what are the notable verses that is heavily quoted from the book of Enoch to the canon Bible nowadays, or the New Testament? Okay. First Enoch chapter 1 verse 9, it says here, "Behold, he comes with 10,000s of his holy ones to execute judgment upon all." This is the famous verse. It is directly quoted in Jude chapter 1 verses 14 to 15 in the New Testament. It establishes the idea of God arriving with heavenly beings to judge the world. Second verse. First Enoch chapter 5 verse 7. To the righteous there shall be light, joy, and peace, and they shall inherit the earth. This sounds very psalm-like, and Jesus coded like, blessed are the meek, just like in Matthew chapter 5, right? The Beatitudes. The fall of the watchers, angels. First Enoch chapter 6 verses 1 to 2. The angels, the children of heaven, saw and lusted after them, and said to one another, come, let us choose wives from among the children of men. This expands Genesis chapter 6, 1 to 4 in detail and is foundational to the Watcher's narrative. First Enoch chapter 7 verse 2. They became pregnant and bore great giants who devoured all the acquisitions of men. This explains why violence and famine explode before the flood. So we could see the reason why God sent flood in the time of Noah. Because of the fallen angels. Well, it's written in the Bible. In canon Bible, particularly as well. This is key. Evil isn't just moral, it's technological, cultural, systemic. So first Enoch chapter 8 verses 1 to 3 it says, Azazel taught men to make swords, knives, shields, and the art of war. So origin of demons, very important. This is the very important part. So first Enoch chapter 15 verses 8 to 9 it says here, the spirits of the giants shall be evil spirits on the earth. They will corrupt, fail, fall, and attack. This verse explains demons are the spirits of dead Nephilim, not fallen angels themselves. This idea shaped Second Temple Judaism and early Christianity. Take note that demons is different from fallen angels. They are both different terms because mostly in modern times, fallen angels and demons are getting interchanged or sometimes intertwined most of the time. But when you look at the book of Enoch, demons is the dead spirits of Nephilim, while the fallen angels, those are the people, which is the watchers who lusted after human women. I was just thinking, so it means to say that if they lusted after human women, so it means to say that these angels have human organs? Hold up. No way. It says it lusted, so it has its own sperm cell. Yeah, it's written in Genesis chapter 6. I don't know. I cannot comprehend on my mind. Angels, the fallen angels, the watchers, lusted after woman. Then they had offspring, Nephilim, and then the Nephilim died, and then they are called demons right now. It's crazy, you know. God's refusal to forgive the watchers. First Enoch chapter 14 verses 4 to 5. You were in heaven, but its secrets had not yet been revealed to you. You defied yourselves with the daughters of men. This shows angels had boundaries, so they are really different from humans. Knowledge itself could be sinful if taken wrongly. Enoch's heavenly visions. So in 1 Enoch chapter 14 verse 18 to 20 it says here, I saw a lofty throne. Its appearance was like crystal and wheels like the shining sun. This imagery later appears in Ezekiel, Daniel, and Revelation. Yeah, usually in Book of Revelation and Book of Daniel, there are really great and astonishing descriptions of the throne of God and God Himself. So first Enoch chapter 17 verse 2, it says, I saw the paths of the angels, and at the end of the earth I saw a great abyss. Cosmic geography, heaven isn't metaphorical, here it's structured. The Son of Man, Messianic. First Enoch chapter 48 verses 2 to 3. At that hour the Son of Man was named in the presence of the Lord of spirits before the sun and signs were created. So this is huge. Pre-existent, chosen before creation, directly influences how Jesus uses Son of Man. So maybe really that's why. So that's why Jude, Book of Jude and Book of Paul, or the books of Paul or Pauline theology strongly quoted some of the verses there, like the angels. First Enoch chapter 62 verse 5. The Son of Man shall sit on the throne of his glory. This language echoes strongly in the Gospels and Revelation. The Gospels are Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Justice for the oppressed. First Enoch chapter 94 verse 8. Woe to you sinners, for you persecute the righteous. The yoke of the righteous shall be upon you. This book consistently sides with the poor, the abused, the silenced. So when you read the book of Enoch, it is really like the Gospels, because just like the Matthew chapter 5, blessed are the poor in spirit, something like that. So I could not really blame a token church for including it, because it still speaks comfort. It sides with the poor, the abused, and the silenced. First Enoch chapter 96 verse 1. Be hopeful, you righteous, for suddenly the sinners shall perish. This was meant to comfort people under oppression. There is still encouragement. Interesting book. Final restoration and hope. First Enoch chapter 104 verse 2. It says here, be not afraid, you righteous. Your names are written before the glory of the Great One. That book of names idea showed up later in Revelation's book of life. So it's kind of really the same, right? It feels like the first book of Enoch. It's like the summary of the canon Bible. The whole canon Bible. No, it's just my opinion. My commentary about it. First Enoch chapter 108 verse 10. I will bring forth in shining light those who love my holy name. The ending of First Enoch is not doom, it's vindication. So why these verses matter? Together they show a worldview where evil is cosmic, justice is delayed but inevitable, heaven notices suffering, power is judged, not protected. First Enoch doesn't sugarcoat reality, but it refuses to let injustice have the last word. But when you read the book of Enoch, it is like the book of Isaiah, Ezekiel, and Daniel that really needs total focus. Like you need to have dictionary on your side. And you really have to keep praying for divine understanding. This is because it's deep. It's written in poetical mode. But all in all, it is a good book for looking back. It feels like more of like a deeper story that is cut in the book of Genesis. Actually, it's a good book when you read it. I just cannot move on because I'm thinking, so the angels, the watchers, have reproductive organs. They lusted after human women. And I was just thinking, if Nephilim are giants, how did this woman, human woman, gave birth? Well, of course, I don't know if there are already cesarean type of giving birth at the time. Normal birth. But all in all, it's an amazing book. But it's not a source of devotional thing if you are a serious Christian, but more of like a look back of what has really happened in the past. It could be true, it could be not, but it's a good thing, an appreciation that the canon Bible we have today and this book of Enoch solidifies the canon Bible, that God is the only sovereign God. Jesus is the only God. And that's the book of First Book of Enoch.